An Austin woman has now learned her fate, convicted of profiting off her mother's death. Just how long she will spend in prison after stealing thousands of taxpayer dollars.
An incoming cold front means another chance for storms. Now, when they come, will we be getting them enough to ruin our Friday plans? Well, I will let you know coming up.
The state fair begins and the governor makes a stop. Reporters pester him about running for a third term. His response ahead.
Live from KIMT News 3, we've got you covered. This is KIMT News 3 at 10.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for KIMT News 3 at 10 o'clock. I'm Kamie Blair. We'll begin with weather tonight. A live look over downtown Rochester after a pretty nice day. Pretty warm into the evening, but what can we expect into our Friday? Joining us once again is Chief Meteorologist Sarah Knox with all the details. Hey, Sarah.
Hey there, Kamie. So things changing, not rapidly, but the changes already can be seen, especially if you look to the northwest. You might see the leading edge of all of this cloud cover that's coming our way. Yes, clouds are expected to increase as we head into the evening, but I bet many of you are wondering, is it safe to open up the windows tonight to let in some of this nice, cool, fresh air? Because there is some green to be seen on the satellite. Let me zoom over real quick to it just to show that actually over the last couple hours, it's begun to split. That's how things were looking as we were heading into the evening. Most of the activity should stay to the west, and we can already see the high pressure just eating away at what is left trying to head to the east. Now, all of this is due in part to a cold front moving our way. It's slowing down high pressure, like I said, helping slow it down. But Kamie, this is still going to march forward, and as it does, it will eventually bring our area some chances for rain. I'll time it all out coming up in just a bit.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much. A fallen officer originally from Kenyon, born in Zumbrota, is being remembered across the state of Minnesota. First responders from Anoka to Steele County are honoring 41-year-old Carl Hagen, who died unexpectedly this week. He was a 2002 graduate of Kenyon Wanamingo High School. After his death, it was revealed he struggled with mental health. Hagen leaves behind a wife and 3 children. He was passionate about his work as a police officer, we're told, having served in Faribault and finally achieving his dream job with the LeSueur Police Department.
It was right out of high school. He just said, you know what, I really want to be a police officer. I want to be able to help people. I want to be that person that's there when tragedy strikes.
Hagen's brother, Mikkel, says Carl was dedicated to helping others, but wished Carl had found the support he needed. A funeral will be held on August 31st, and if you or someone you know is struggling, you can call 988 anytime for support. A blow to the comedy scene in Rochester. Goonies Comedy Club has announced its closure. Goonies was entering its 20th year in Rochester. Its owners, Mark and Jasmine Clampy, made the announcement tonight, saying the club could not come to an agreement with its landlord. The owners also asked the public to keep supporting live comedy. The club was in what is now the American, right off of South Broadway, next to Crooked Pine. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is contemplating running for a third term. He plans to make his decision, he says, within weeks. The governor was at the Minnesota State Fair this morning for the big opening, where he spoke about his upcoming decision on a possible third-term run in 2026. He stressed the importance of making a decision soon to give people time to consider their options. Governor Walz, having recently lost as Kamala Harris's running mate, acknowledged his hesitation.
Well, I think you should always have hesitation to run. It's not you don't have a right to do this. It's what the people want to do. And I think for me, it's I've been a privilege to do this. I think we've navigated some challenging times and done it well. But I think it's important to get out here, and this is a good time to listen. I'm not going to talk, and I'm not campaigning and sloganeering at them, but I do want to hear what people are going to say. And then I think you need to make a decision here in the next couple of weeks because it gives people time. But, you know, that is plenty of time. I think our campaigns are pretty long.
Meanwhile, the Republican field is expanding with State Representative Kristen Robbins joining the race alongside Kendall Qualls and Scott Jensen. Back to the fair. If you do plan on heading to Falcon Heights, here are some of the basics you might need to know. It opened at 7 o'clock this morning. It's open daily from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. until Labor Day. It does close early on Labor Day, I think at 9 o'clock at night. Gates will close around 9 p.m. though every day, But the fair does remain open until 11. Tickets are $20 for adults, and Old Dominion is on the grandstand stage right now. Meghan Trainor performs tomorrow night. A Mower County woman gets away with collecting her dead mother's Social Security for 25 years, but now she's paying the price. Prison time. 54-year-old Mavius Redman from Austin is heading to prison for a year and 1 day. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph H. Thompson says she must also serve a year of supervised release. Redman collected more than $360,000 in Social Security benefits. And Redman's actions included forging her mother's signature, using her mother's Social Security number, and even visiting the Social Security Administration office in person, posing as her mother. Court documents show the scheme started back in 1999 and lasted until June of last year. The Social Security Administration and the IRS led this investigation. The Rochester Civic Theater is debuting a new expansion this week. It's renovated one of its classrooms into a fully functional dance studio. KIMT News 3's Evan Berg has the story.
Rochester Civic Theater is pulling back the curtain on a new renovation for some dance studio space.
The city began the process of renovating the roofing, which needed a rehabilitation. Unfortunately, with all of the tumultuous amounts of rains that we've gotten all spring, all summer long, there were some occasions for some issues.
In late April, the theater says some of the construction materials were left on the roof.
And a huge rain came. It created a funnel-like effect, and we literally had a waterfall coming in, just pouring into this room.
But since the city was willing to replace the damaged roof and the waterlogged floors, the theater says it saw an opportunity.
We had the floor damaged. It was already going to be torn up. Why not see if we could take a step forward?
This summer, it was out with the linoleum and in with 700 square feet of sprung flooring.
Very hard on the feet to dance in this space, so this is a huge new asset.
20 different community classes, theater troupes, and ballet schools are held in the classroom, and excited to get back to using the space.
Just really breathes new life, and that's contagious. So, of course, our community partners are really excited about it, as are we.
The first show that's going to grace this new dance floor is The Prom, which is launching this September at the Rochester Civic Theater. In Rochester, Evan Berg, KIMT News 3.
Well, it might be the second show after that great performance from Evan. The Prom is the first show of the theater's 74th season, though. It runs September 18th to October 5th. The city of Rochester is putting together its 2026 budget, and despite higher rates for utilities and some new investments in the Rochester housing, police, and city parks, property taxes won't be going up as much as initially expected. The city's deputy administrator says after finding places to trim things down across several departments, city staff has found a way to cut $4 million from its expected expenses for next year into 2027. The tax levy increase for 2026 under this plan was at first predicted to be around 11%. But with these changes, he says it would be closer to 5.9% instead.
We don't know how that'll impact people's homes at this point. We wait for some data from the county in September to get us a better understanding of the average value home impact. But I think we're really encouraged going in to Monday night.
There's many ways to report this story. We can say, oh, they trimmed the fat, or, oh, they perhaps did it wrong the first way. But either way, it's looking a little better for taxpayers. After a series of 3 study sessions starting this Monday, the council will have the opportunity to finalize the budget after hearing from community members in a public hearing on December 1st. Parrish says all interested city residents are encouraged to attend. Well, lightning is often a hot topic, especially during severe weather season. Tonight, KIMT Storm Track 3 meteorologist Hunter Donahoe joins us to look at some lightning specifics in this week's Ask Away.
We have a 2-part question for this week's Ask Away. Julie wants to know, does lightning actually come from the ground? Well, we'll deep dive into that. And what causes horizontal lightning? So we have 2 questions to answer here. We'll try to deep dive into them right now. To start out, we'll talk about that lightning coming from the ground. It's called upward lightning. It tends to originate from a tall object, such as a building, a tower, or even a wind turbine. Now, this type of lightning commonly occurs after a nearby cloud-to-ground lightning strike, which is that awfully common one. That strike causes a more favorable environment for this ground-to-cloud upward lightning to occur. So we all know how lightning forms, the battle between two electrical charges, the negative charge in the cloud and the positive charge at the surface. What's known as a stepped leader starts to come out of our cloud, our thunderstorm, and tries to meet up with this positive charge. It's pulling it up from the surface. That is the start of this lightning coming from the ground. Now, once these two charges meet, that electrical current starts flowing, and that is the initiation of our lightning strike. When we see the return stroke, it travels at 60,000 miles per second, believe it or not. And this process occurs off and on several times, causing a flicker effect. That is what we see with that lightning commonly. This whole process lasts less than a second. Now, the second part of your question, Julie, is, of course, the horizontal lightning. And we have many lightning types. The horizontal one, more than likely, is cloud to ground. It's pretty uncommon. I wouldn't call it rare. That rare lightning strike is the ground to cloud, coming from the ground. We also have cloud to sky, intra-cloud, cloud to ground. The positive lightning strike, that is that clear air lightning strike ahead of a thunderstorm. And then, of course, the most common one, cloud to ground within the storm, which is what we more commonly see. So thank you, Julie, for sending in those two questions. If anyone has any question related to weather or science, please send it in to me at weather@KIMT.com, and I'll be sure to answer it over the coming weeks.
Always so interesting. Hunter, thank you so much. A back-to-school shooting hoax at a major university. The college's president speaking out tonight.